So, Nigeria is doing something pretty incredible with its central bank digital currency, the eNaira. It's going offline. And the goal? To connect millions of people who've been completely left out of the digital economy. Now, you have to be asking, how in the world does a digital currency work without the internet? And could this actually be a blueprint for the rest of the world? Let's get into it. This one sentence right here says it all. This isn't just about some fancy new tech. It's a total shift in thinking. For the very first time, a digital currency is being built not for the tech-savvy folks in the big cities, but for everyone, everywhere, especially those in the most remote, disconnected areas. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the huge challenge Nigeria is up against with its digital divide. Then, we'll dive into the clever offline solution they've created, see exactly how it works, and explore why this is such a game changer for small traders. And finally, we'll check out the new rules and what's on the horizon. Okay, so first up, let's set the stage. To really get why an offline digital currency is such a massive deal, you first have to understand the reality of Nigeria's digital divide. Look, for a massive chunk of Nigeria's population, digital banking might as well be on another planet. In so many rural communities, having reliable internet is a total luxury. Not everyone has a smartphone, and a formal bank account is pretty rare. This basically creates an invisible wall, locking millions of people out of the modern economy. And the number of people we're talking about here is just staggering. Over 50 million. Let that sink in for a second. That's the number of Nigerians who could finally be brought into the digital financial world with a solution that doesn't need the internet. We're talking about a population bigger than most countries in Europe. And this is where the solution comes in, eNaira version 2.0. And let me tell you, this isn't just a simple software update. It's a complete reimagining of who a digital currency is even for. You see, this was a really strategic move by the central bank. The first version of the eNaira, well, it struggled. Why? Because you needed an internet connection. They realized that if this was going to be a true national currency, it had to work for every single citizen, period. The goal is real universal financial inclusion. And this is where you really see the genius of it. Traditional digital banking has these high walls to climb. You need a good smartphone, you need a data plan. The eNaira 2.0 just tears those walls down. All you need is a phone, any phone, and you're in the game. So, the big question, right? How is this even possible? How can a digital currency move around without the internet? It sounds kind of like magic, but let's break down the surprisingly simple tech that makes it all happen. Okay, method one is super cool and so simple. You get this tiny little sticker. It's called an NFC sticker. And you just stick it on any phone at all. To pay for something, you just tap your phone on the merchant's little terminal, boom, done. The transaction is instant and you need zero internet. It's perfect for a busy market. But what if you don't even have a phone that can do that? No problem. Method 2 is even more universal. You just dial a simple code, *997#, and you can get into your eNaira wallet from literally any mobile phone. It works like those simple text menus you use to check your phone credit. You can send money, check your balance, all without a single drop of data. So yeah, those are the two key pieces of offline tech. You've got NFC for that simple tap to pay, and USSD for text-based banking that works on, well, everything. And believe it or not, the innovation doesn't stop there. The system also has what's called programmable money. Now think about this. It allows the government to send aid for, say, farming supplies, and that money can only be spent on farming supplies. It's incredible for making sure help gets where it's needed. Plus, people without a bank account can just buy eNaira vouchers to get started, and you can even get cash from an ATM without a card. Okay, the technology is cool, for sure, but what's the real point? What does this actually change for people on the ground, in their daily lives and businesses? Let's explore the real-world impact on trade out in rural Nigeria. Well, the impact is absolutely massive. It really boils down to 4 huge wins. First, and most obviously, you're bringing millions of people into the formal economy. Second, it lowers costs and makes things safer for small businesses that don't have to handle tons of cash. Third, transactions happen instantly, which is a lifeline for cash flow. And finally, it gives a huge boost to the government's bigger goal of moving toward a cashless society. And this really gets to the heart of it. We're not just talking about abstract economic policies here. This is a ground-level revolution for the farmers selling their produce, the vendor in the local market, and the small trader just trying to grow their business. It pulls them into a system that's safer,
faster, and way more efficient.
Okay, so for something this massive to actually work, you need rules, right? And you definitely need a plan. So let's take a look at the regulations that are coming into place and what's next on the roadmap for the eNaira. So get this, by January 2026, some major changes are kicking in to really push this forward. For one, all government agencies, they're going cashless. They'll have to stop accepting cash payments. To help keep the system running, there'll be a small 50 naira fee on larger transfers. And this is a big one for building trust. All those point-of-sale agents will have to be officially registered. And they are not slowing down. The roadmap from here is super ambitious. By the middle of 2026, they're expanding this offline pilot to over 100 rural communities to really see what works best. They're also working to plug the eNaira directly into agricultural co-ops to get it right into the hands of farmers. And they're teaming up with the telecom companies to make that USSD service rock solid. There's even a super lightweight app in the works for more basic smartphones. So really, when you strip everything else away, the mission is beautifully simple, isn't it? It's about turning every single rural market, no matter how remote it is, into a modern digital hub. And it's all happening one simple tap at a time. And that leaves us with a huge, fascinating question. Not just for Nigeria, but for the future of money everywhere. Can a central bank digital currency really connect the unconnected and turn every local market stall into a digital powerhouse? Nigeria is betting big that it can, and you can be sure the rest of the world is watching very, very closely.